and have a human compassion, and to realize that these people are not consciously behaving in this manner, even though that some of the group have some choice. It isn't a conscious, on a conscious level choice. So we must be compassionate first of all. He says there's really very little that can be done in the sense of actively healing these people. The people where the barriers have been broken through, where there's some leakage, some of them are irreparable. Others, with the proper rest and a complete lack of pressure of any kind, could heal. The mechanism could heal itself. And so it's a matter of adjusting the environment more than doing something. The ones who are irreparably insane simply have to be taken care of. It's just a process that some pain that they have to work through, work out.
How would the schizophrenic fit into this pattern?
Most schizophrenics are actually damaged in this lifetime by their environment. Early childhood patterns. But they come in with, this is what brings it on, but they have less natural immunity. Okay, let's see how to put that. They have less protection. It's like there's a protective coating of some sort. Now, the word's not right, but there's a protection around our vital force, our vital energy that comes in. And there seem to be individuals born with less protection than others. And if those particular individuals are treated in a certain way in the human condition, they break down. Another individual could be placed in that same environment and wouldn't break down and become schizophrenic. Drugs play a large role in this. Any kind of drugs cause a breakdown in those individuals who are less protected. So the schizophrenics would fit into the pattern of a leakage, be a specific type of pattern where the individual moves too far into another state of consciousness and is unable to distinguish between his reality and the consensus reality.
Is it possible for us to in any way help restructure such an individual so that he is re-strengthened in some form?
Hans says that there may be methods that are outgrowths of this kind of method we're using to reach into other consciousness. Like that.
Which they've been showing here recently. Since 78 when this was done.
So the teaching methods may be devised to help these individuals maintain the ability to distinguish which state of consciousness they're in, but that during the time they're in an acute phase of schizophrenia, that again, it's just a matter of allowing them to heal, that they are so open and so raw, that any form of active treatment is unpredictable.
Is it possible then to help them identify this consensus reality properly and the other consciousness which is interfering with this?
Yes, but not during an acute phase.
Not during the acute phase. Could be very interesting. Then to pick up another thing that seemed interesting, in terms of this question of dreams, where does what we label nightmare fit into that? And where does that fit into this whole pattern, this deeply moving nightmare experience?
Well, Hans says that this is an exaggeration of the emotions that are felt in the human body in ordinary consciousness, or they are either felt in ordinary consciousness and exaggerated in the nightmare, or in some cases are blocked, so that when it would be appropriate to be angry, the person isn't angry, and that emotion comes out in the nightmare in some other form. The dream state doesn't always distinguish the separate emotions, like sorting out love and hate and fear and joy and anger, sorrow. When there's just a strong emotion, it has to be released some way. Sometimes it's clear cut what it's about, and those are the dreams we can analyze and bring to the surface issues that the person, patient, if it's in somebody in treatment, bring to the surface the underlying problem through the dream. Also, he says there are some nightmares, particularly children's nightmares, that come from a former life, memories, some tragic or frightening memories, and that the physical body reacts in terror because the memory comes through, so that the typical nightmare situation of the person stiffening or screaming or becoming very tense, changing the breathing, sometimes even going into almost a state of tetany, is due to the fear. And of course, due to the change breathing pattern as the fear develops.
Very good. then here was another point. Is it possible, for example, as you are now, for Hans to help you have a forward memory in time? For example, can you have a forward memory of a week from now, which would be March 14th, and have you see what March 14th is in forward memory? Can he help you do this now?
I'll ask him. He says I still have some investment in being correct and in what does he say, in my part of me that I dealt with to a great extent, but there's still part of that kind of perfectionist part, and that's interfering. He says he has tried from time to time to put flashes of future memory into my mind, my conscious mind, and sometimes it's been effective and other times it hasn't. But that when I lose that final hanging on to perfectionism, it will be very easy. He says I can lie still for a minute or two and he can try, so I'll do that.
All right, that'd be very interesting. I'll wait.
Myself in my office wearing something blue, and there are clouds outside, but it's not raining. It's the morning, maybe about 10:30.
What has taken place during the past week then?
On some kind of a difficulty about the transportation
Focusing on the
back to
difficulties.
California. But it's okay, works out. Something about the reservation. Arriving in a lot of rain. Awakening the next day to sunshine. It seems really specific enough to have any other meaning. I mean, it would be different or out of the ordinary.
What?
Well, I've seen something about this Panama Canal Treaty, and it's not, at least by that time, it's not ratified. Heavy snow, heavier snow for a lot of the United States.